All right, good morning. I'm glad everybody has survived the snowstorm. Luckily, we won't have another one until another week from now. So this week we're going to do a couple of different things, and I didn't want to put up anything until I had a chance to do some of these videos in class and go over some of the concepts. So this week we're going to start with doing something interesting. Everything we've done so far has been inside of Cengage. And I've showed you the idle environment. Well, we're going to actually install that this week on your computer. So what we're showing is going to be on a Windows machine, but the process is fairly similar if you're on a Mac or on a Linux machine, or again, you can even run there are some Python components you can even run if you're using an iPad or other things. So that's part of why we chose this as a language, because we can nearly make it run on everything, including Chromebooks, which is kind of an issue for some of our other classes with the Chromebooks. So the first site I'm going to go to here is I'm going to go to python.org. And python.org is the home, and we kind of looked at it a little bit, of Python. And so it's got, obviously there's things like job lists in here. There's all different kinds of information about what's available. But we're going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to download a copy of Python. And so if I just hover over downloads, I get a couple of different options. So I get Windows, and I have the version 3.9.1. Now, this is kind of interesting because they've made some different changes between 3.9 and 3.8. And because of that, I'm going to actually recommend we do this. And I know this is weird, but we're going to go click the full list of downloads. And we're going to look for all different kinds of stuff. So let's look at, if you have Dockers, you can even put it in there. So it actually gives you something on their release schedules, and you can download a specific release. Well, I like to live on the bleeding edge. Nothing in our class will probably change versus 3.9 versus 3.8, but just because I'm going to grab a slightly older version just so we don't have any issue. And I've got some other code that I want to work on in another development. So I'm not going to grab the 3.9 yet because I don't want to break my stuff. And so I'm on a different computer in here. We're doing some shuffling around because we decided we'd let out the smoke out of a computer. So this release says, here's some information about it. Tells me what some of the differences are. We have Windows users. You have Mac users. It says some of the differences. So depending on your Mac version, if you have a much older Mac, and you're not updated to the latest version, you may need to grab a slightly different installer. So I'm going to grab the Windows installer 64-bit right here, and I'm going to download. Yes, sir? You can't download 3.87? All right. You might have to try the 3.9 just to see what will happen. So, and again, there are different versions, and we've run into some truly strange little glitches, but usually they're not too bad. But as operating systems get older, or you've got, because we say Windows 10 or we say Mac OS X, and there's 8 or 9 different versions of Windows 10. There's 8 or 9 versions of Mac, and certainly we run into some issues. So I'm going to click that download here, and so now I've got it downloaded. I'm just going to click to install it, and I'm going to click install now. I am just going to click that button right there, and it will usually pop up a UAC window to say, hey, do you want to install something there? It will take a few moments to install. And then now we've actually installed the software. So now on the Windows platform, if I hit the Windows key and I type IDLE, and it's of course going to be in the other window, I can verify that my program is up and running because I can actually run that idle shell. And so this says, hey, we're in Windows, and we can actually start putting in commands there. So I'm actually going to stop this here and make kind of a shorter video.